Oh man. Good morning, friends. My breakfast was delicious. We'll turn that off. How are we all doing? What do we got? Mushu and Cobra. Good choices. Good morning. It's I missed yesterday because it had to go and snow in Philadelphia, and there was a 2-hour delay for schools. So by the time I got my kids there and got home, and I'm like, yeah, can't happen. Still recovering from the weekend. Send help. Listen, come on. It's already Thursday. You got to be better than that, Stefan. You got to be better than that. There's better recovery than that. Cite it for the top manipulation deck. Okay. We might need we'll see. There's a lot of cool stuff. Honestly, the last few days have been pretty insane. Tomorrow's gonna be fun. Why? Because go Birds. What? Anything made with eggs seems luxurious at the moment. I don't think so. It's funny though that you bring that up. And I'll be honest, guys, I don't like to talk about politics too much, if I'm being completely honest. But when we went to Miami, Ben and Melissa went and bought stuff for the Airbnb before I had gotten there. And they said that the eggs were gone. And that was in Miami. So interesting here. In Philadelphia, I have not seen that yet. I was just at the supermarket the other day. We had plenty of eggs, but I do hear that it's sparse in places. But yeah, for us in Philly, I haven't experienced that yet. Yeah, we're gonna talk about this guy. He's awful, and not like, oh, he's a bad card. Like, no, he's awful, and I already hate him with a passion, for sure. Okay, so that's the answer. Just panic buys. That's all. Oh, I forgot. I gotta put my crown on. We're not sponsored by Burger King, so we're not gonna do that. But we're gonna. Oh man, virtual cam doesn't like it. That's no fun. All right, we'll put it away for now. Maybe we'll get a crown later. Maybe. Who knows? But seriously, let's get into it, right? Because there's a lot. This is why I wanted to do this every day, guys, because I didn't want to come on here and do like 50 cards. But that's where we're at. I don't know why this Pete in particular is like so tiny, but that's kind of where we're at. So 1 cost, Emerald character, 1 strength, 2 willpower, with the ability of Pilfer and Plunder. When you play an action that isn't a song, you may banish chosen item. Okay. I guess this is fine, right? Like, it is ironically the same cost as Clarabelle in theory. Clarabelle's a 1 cost 1/2, but you can kicker her for 2 more. So the question of like if any of this stuff is going to work, because now we have a Pete, right? We have a big Floodborn Pete, and we're going to need stuff to shift onto. And this is obviously a 1 cost character with an ability. So like maybe there's a world that this guy just sees play because of it. The problem that I'm having with these cards is, obviously Fire the Cannons, Smash, like they're good cards, but on average, the best cards have always been singable. So that's kind of where I'm at with this card, is that a lot of these cards that we're going to see, and this isn't the only one with the, this ability of like, hey, when you play a non-song action, you get a thing. So I don't know, I don't know. We have Tiana. Tiana was a 4 cost 4/4, inkable, play it and limit it, move on, right? Or Tanana. Sorry, I said Tiana. My bad. You guys know I'm terrible with names. Good news is we can move through. All right, so this one's a bit confusing. I got to go and read exactly what it did again so I don't get it wrong. But I will say the Ruby Amethyst duel cards have been so good. The art on these are so cool. Like some of them are just out of this world, if I'm being honest. So if I go, I'm going to bring up the side page so I can look along and read and remember what things do. Because there is quite a bit that have not been revealed in English yet, which is a bit unfortunate because like I can't just like easily read it. But hey, everyone's got to get their reveals. No big deal. We'll manage. This one was also revealed so long ago. It's so funny how I can say so long ago, but it was probably like 50 cards ago. All right, so this one reads, so she's a 4-cost, 3/4 with 1 lore, storyborn villain, and then she has the ability of Search the Swamp. When this character quests, you can deal 2 damage to chosen character of yours and send the top 3 cards of chosen player's deck to the discard pile. So like that's just like super weird all around, right? I don't, off the top of my head, you know, because I'm not like super duper thinking about it. It's such a weird addition to the game. But, you know, there's definitely ways to interact. It's if there becomes more ways to interact with the discard pile, cool. Obviously, Robin Hood does something similar where he's dumping stuff. So like it feels like Ruby is getting these cards that are helping you get things to the discard pile. Now it's just a matter of like what the payoff's going to be, you know, whether it's in this set or a future set. Like if there's payoffs for these things, then like maybe that's where I can see getting a little bit more out of this card. But all in all, I think it's pretty weird. I don't think that this is just like a generic card you're going to put in every Ruby Amethyst deck. It's just like, hey, if this is a card that works out for whatever, great. I don't know. All right, so the Archimedes, I think I missed him late, but he's a 2-cost inkable Amethyst character with 2 strength, 1 willpower, and 1 lore. And then he has the ability of Learn More. Whenever this character is chosen by an opponent's action or ability, you may draw a card. Cool, I guess. He's just a 2/2 though, so he very likely will just get banished in a challenge instead of, you know. Yeah, I don't know. Listen, we're not. Okay, hold on. We're not talking about him today, okay? He betrayed us. And if you guys don't know what I mean, he betrayed us last night in the ICL. We don't talk about him right now. Right now, nothing. No. He's evil. He's evil, guys. He's evil. He was taken away from us. But seriously, yeah, this card's just like super mid, right? You know. Yes, exactly. Exactly, AJ. All right, so this guy is a 1-cost. Yeah. I'm trying to remember without going to look for it. But it's a 1-cost inkable Ruby character, 1 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore. I can't remember the name of the ability, but the ability reads that while he's damaged, or I think no, while there's a damaged character in play, he gets +2 strength. I believe that's what he does. Yeah, while a damaged character is in play, he gets +2 strength. I like this card. I compared him to the Moana. So the 1-cost 3/2 Moana that can only challenge if you have a captain or a pirate or whatever. Like this card's very similar to that, but it's actually probably easier to challenge with. And it's the same thing where you always have it. I'm also like a big fan of Nick Wilde from the last set that as long as you have a character with support, he gets 3/2s. 1-cost 3/2s definitely break the curve of the game. So they're definitely pretty powerful to have. And if you can use them correctly. So I feel like this is a card that most Ruby decks will love to have. I think it's very similar, not like as on point with like Felicia or anything like that we've seen some play recently, but it is a similar concept of just like, hey, this is a guy that can be on 1. It's a guy that can trade up. It's a guy that like can be annoying later on. Maybe it's just like gain 1 lore, etc. for a couple turns. I just think he like this plays a lot of roles. And we'll also see later in today's reveals that there is a like another card that like just automatically turns these things on, which I think is really cool. All right. Magical Maneuvers is a 2-cost inkable action for Amethyst. Return chosen character of yours to your hand to exert chosen character. Like at first glance, I think the card is very cool. I think the card is very interesting, but you know, I don't know. I think it's really tough. It's really like now we have to start thinking about room, right? We got to think about room in decks. And, you know, if you're going to tell me that like maybe I'm not going to play 4 snakes as an option, and this is a card that I'm going to play, like I'm going to play like as a, like just as like a random snake that can pick up stuff later on without the cost. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It has obviously, so it has this ability. We can talk about it with Vanish, right? Like that's what we're kind of talking about in chat. I guess that's true. I think that's very true, likely for limited, right? Like in limited, maybe we just like have to have these answers to, you know, the illusion characters, and this is a card that says like, okay, I in limited, you know, if we're not going to get, you know, some new Dragonfire or some new Steel Song that's going to deal damage, like this is a card that probably has to exist in limited, or the illusions are just going to be way too good. Like that's very possible. Outside of that, I think it's very tough. I don't know. I just don't know where you're going to fit this. That's just better than what a snake would be on average. The exert is obviously always very good, but that's another thing. Like maybe it's fine, you know, for certain decks. I do agree that Sapphire Amethyst, this is a card that Sapphire Amethyst probably enjoys a bunch. But all in all, I don't know. To me, like it's definitely a card, you know, and anyone that doesn't know me, like I will pretty much like any card that is fringe or close. The first thing I do very often is just like throw 4 of them in my deck and play games with it. So this is definitely a card that is worth actually like playing games with, where, you know, most of these cards are just limited and you're not going to ever put them in a constructed deck pretty much ever. This is a card that at least like has a text box, is interesting, and I could see fitting in like wonky places. It's just a matter of like, will it stick? I don't know. I don't know if this is as a card that will be like indexed in the metagame on average. Like maybe it's a random one of, hard to say pretty early on. Robin Hood's a 3-cost, 3/3 for Sapphire with 1 lore and support. You'll play them in limited, and that's probably about it. There's a lot of these. Since there's so many, I'm not going to spend too much time like talking about cards that, you know, just don't need to worry too much about. 1-cost, inkable action, Wake Up Alice for Emerald. Return chosen damage character to their player's hand. This is another one, super fringe, super weird. We'll see play with some of the other cards that we're going to talk about later. I think it's fine. You know, I think this card's fine. I think it's good for limited in a big way. Normally, often in limited, you'll see a character, you know, win the war, take out one of your characters, and then be sitting there. If your next turn is like, all right, I'm going to underdrop by 1, but then I'm going to pay 1, return that to your hand. Now they have to like replay it. Those things might be okay. Hard to say, though. I don't know. Beautiful card, though. I do love it. And, hey, shout out to Alice. Didn't we already talk about this card? Oh, we did. We talked about some of these cards already. I forgot they're in the album. Let me see. For the record, just I don't need to go over these again. If you need to like watch the last video, these cards are awesome. Tamatoa and Scrooge. I went on for days about these cards. They're so good. Maybe I can't actually remember where we left off now. I don't think we talked about this guy. I think we missed those. So yeah, I think I'm going off the album that we made on Facebook, but I remember I put all of Day 2's album in there, even though we talked about some of them in the morning that came out before the stream was over. So I'll do my best to try and skip them. 3-cost thinkable, 3 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore. Emerald character with origin story. When you play a Floodborn character on this card, draw a card. I don't like the wording of this card at all. It's also, it's really weird to say. It's kind of like the same thing as when you shift the card, get the ability, but it's like specifically when you shift on top of this, all of a sudden it triggers. it just feels like a weird timing window. You're also like covering up the card, so now you have to remember that. So yeah, there's a lot of I just don't like the ability of this card at all. I just think it's confusing. And I think that it's like one of those cards that, again, just because of the way the shift mechanic works and how you automatically put cards over it, it's very possible that you just forget origin story altogether, and it's like a weird missed thing. So if hero is like a competitive card, then hopefully we just get around it. But in general, I do not like the mechanic of this card at all. I just think that it's so easy to forget, and I'm never a fan of cards that are like that. I'm never a fan of like punishment by game design because of like the way it just unfolds all of itself. I'm really not a fan of this. Pepper, 3-cost inkable, 2/2, 1 lore, with the ability of, in the nick of time, whenever one of your puppy characters is banished, you may put that card into your inkwell face down and exert it. Puppy fans, rejoice. I know you guys are excited. I know you're all going to build your puppy decks. Great. Now you can have a bunch of ink in your deck to play multiple puppies. That's what we want, right? We just want to play multiple puppies. No, but seriously, for puppy fans out there, awesome. We don't have a shift for here yet. So, okay, yeah. So like I assume like universal shift is the normal. I thought there's not one in set 6, or is there just like 2 or 3 Hero Nakamura or Hero? I always say Hero Nakamura. Is there just 2 or 3 heroes in Azurite Sea, but none of them are shift? I thought like the big one was a shift. I know none of them have seen play. That I'm very well aware of. But I guess there is no shift hero in Azurite. I thought that the bigger one was. Maybe I'm just wrong. So yeah, maybe it's just universal shift then. Who the hell knows? Maybe this is just like the combo. I expect there to be some type of Floodborn. But hey, who knows? If it's just universal shift, then the flavor is there, right? Aside from that, still don't like it. Yokai has one. Oh, that's right. You're right. So yeah, puppy fans are going to be excited about this. I don't think competitive people... I don't think this card's going to make the card make puppies competitive. Yeah, 1-cost inkable. Canine crunchies. Is this a cereal or is this just like dog treats? Either way, I love it. I'm not I'm not a fan of this movie. I think I watched it like once when it came out, and I've not watched it since. So forgive me if I'm offending any fans out there. This guy is a 1-cost inkable item with the ability of, you can be a champion too. Your puppy characters get +1 willpower. Again, puppy fans rejoice. You're going to have more willpower on your cards, and I hope that makes you happy. You can be offended. That's fine. Like I can't please everybody, but for what it's worth, if I'm going to offend anybody, I'm glad that I'm offending Melissa. Just so we're all clear. All right, so Perdita. Perdita is a 4-cost inkable amber sapphire character with 1 strength, 4 willpower, 2 lore, and 2 abilities. Who's next? Whenever this character quests, you pay 2 less for the next puppy character you play this turn. And don't be afraid, your puppy characters gain ward. So this card's cool. Obviously, I wish it had ward itself. Like, if this card had ward itself, then maybe puppies could actually be something. Just because, like, protecting some of the puppies would be really great. Like a card like Lucky comes to mind, right? Lucky is technically a puppy, if I remember. I could be wrong for what it's worth. But like protecting a Lucky would be sweet if we could set that up, and then he can actually like refill our hand, and we can just keep going and keep drawing. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's cool. Like, again, if you're a huge puppy fan, you love this stuff, which is awesome. Are you bringing puppy deck to the encounter? Make Dan play it. No, that's not happening. Dan will not be playing a puppy deck. All right. So let's look at another legendary. I think this was the 3rd legendary we've seen from the set so far, at least at the time it was released. 3-cost inkable amber character, Aurora, Waking Beauty, 1 strength, 4 willpower, 2 lore, with Singer 5, and the ability Sweet Dreams. Whenever you remove 1 or more damage from a character, ready this character. She can't quest or challenge for the rest of the turn. What? What Aurora? This Aurora card? Hold on, JD Quest. Hold on. We're saying, you guys think this is good? All right, let's have a real conversation. Why do you guys think this card is good? What is this card going to replace? I personally think this card is not good. I think that you guys are having like googly eyes for new cards. I do not think that this card will see play. The only thing that makes this card remotely good is Rapunzel. And we already infinitely play around Rapunzel, right? So because of that alone, I don't think this card's going to be good. No, stop storming ourselves. Like this is like not good plays. Like the only time you're storming yourself is in like the most drastic of measures of where you cannot do anything else. Like that is it. So like if your whole play is storm your own character, Rapunzel your character, draw 2, and then wheel, like we have gone through so many rabbit holes and all we've done is actually just wheel. You know? None of those things are great. So because none of those things are great, then you still have to rely on your opponent giving you the ability to heal a character. You know, I hate the fact that you can't do anything else aside from sing. You know, like if you ready it and you're like, oh, I did the thing, I ready it, but I don't have another song to play. It's just there, it's just in play. I don't know. I think that this card's, I don't think it's gonna be good enough. And hey, I've been wrong before, guys. I've been wrong, but for this one, I just don't think this is gonna replace. I know people are I'm gonna make, if Ben is watching and hanging out, I'm gonna make Ben really unhappy right now. I think Gaston is strictly better than this card. Like strictly better as just a 3/3 with 1 lore. The 1/4 makes this card vulnerable to more things. The ability of Sweet Dreams is honestly like irrelevant text 95% of the time. Honestly, like that text box is just filler text box on a card for a legendary. All right. So day 1, you know, because cards are ridiculous. Day 1, this will be insane, right? Over the top, priced out, without a doubt. But that's also legendaries. I imagine that within 30 days, this will not be at all close to a $20 card. Look at Tiana. Honestly, like if anyone remembers Tiana was way overpriced. Where's Tiana been, guys? What did that card do? Huh? Honestly, where did that card go? This is Tiana again. It's just the same thing. Except this one's inkable, thankfully. At the very least, you can ink this card. I'm glad, though. I'm glad we can all agree to disagree. It's okay. We'll see. I have, honestly, no, I don't. I do not. But for what it's worth, all the other Auroras like also aren't very good, which is upsetting. Now, because of like Scrooge and Tamatoa, we might get, I think it was the Shimmering Skies Aurora, the one that lets you exert items to scry, like look at the top part of your deck. Like maybe that card comes back now because item decks might actually be a thing. I don't know. We'll see. Gianna keeps Blurple in check. I mean, does it? Like, does it? Does it? I don't know. We'll see. Here's another legendary. Shout out to Baker, even though he has taken Dick Burns away from us. Seriously, guys, if anyone's not paying attention to the ICL, I had a lot of fun last night. It was a good time. But still, Ratigan, Baker, bad, stole Dick Burns. Let's read the card. 4 strength, inkable, 3/3, 1 lore. Ruby, legendary character with the ability of a marvelous performance. Whenever you play an action while this character is exerted, gain a lore. Okay. Whenever you play an action while this character is exerted, gain a lore. I guess. I don't know. Like, there's a world where this card just win more, right? Right, yeah, but, like, don't you just win already, you know? Like, so this is the thing, right? We're gonna talk about Mushu also coming up, but these are the things with these cards is that what you just said, Ruby, Steel, Maui Shark combo, that deck already wins games when it does the thing. So, like, do you really need any of these cards to help you do the thing? I don't think you do. So since we don't need them, then they're kind of just like there, you know? That's where I'm at. Yeah, exactly. I'm with Christian here, right? This is why we picked up Christian for the ICL. You aren't cutting anything for this card. I think you're right. I don't. I get cool ability. It's definitely like a legendary ability s thing, but I just think in the decks that won him, he just win more, you know. All right, so this is the card we're all waiting for, right? There's a lot of talk around this card. I'll bring it up so you guys can see a bigger version of it here. Baymax is a 6-cost uninkable, 5 strength, 5 willpower, 2 lore with universal shift 4. You may pay 4 ink to play this on top of any one of your characters, and then the ability functionally improved when you play this character. If you use shift to play him, remove all damage from him. Yeah, I mean, this card's an uncommon. This card is so very interesting. Like, obviously, Universal Shift in itself is super interesting, and I don't know. It's so hard to judge this card. Obviously, if this card was inkable, it's probably a slam dunk in all Emerald Sapphire decks. The fact that it is uninkable, I do think it comes at a cost, it comes at a choice. But, like, shifting on something and fully repairing it, even in a world, right? Like, even in a world where this card is shifting on top of a good card, you know, like, let's just say later on in the game, we just put this on top of Clarabelle. When we put this on top of Clarabelle, you know, we might be doing it just to heal Clarabelle for infinite, you know, like, oh, let's just heal 5 damage off my Clarabelle, keep some giant thing in play, keep questing, you know, like stuff like that. Obviously, you know, shifting over like Grandma Tala's is kind of awesome. You know, when in doubt, when you're done with Hiram, like, we can just throw Hiram away, shift on top of Hiram. You know, if we're not going to draw new cards, all of a sudden now we have a 5/5 with 2 lore. Like, the idea that whenever you need it, you have a 5/5 that you can shift onto and instantly challenge. That is now something that players are going to have to respect. Yeah, I mean, like, Tipo is a great example. Tipo 1/2, turn 3, shift this dude in. Now you have another 5/5 in your deck on turn 3 that's questing or singing the turn you play it. Like, turn 2 Tipo, turn 3 shift Baymax, sing, you know, how far I'll go. Like, sing, we don't talk about Bruno. Like, this card is definitely very good. And what I love about this is that, like, obviously, you know, here in CFN, we've been talking about Emerald Sapphire for a month now, and we played it inside events at NSCC and stuff like that. But this is a new archetype. Like, this is the type of card that I want from Duel Links. Like, this is an identity, and it will be something that, for the reason of playing Emerald Sapphire, will be a card like this. That's what I think is most interesting. You know, because traditionally, you have Sapphire Amethyst, like, we have Let It Go, we have The Mother's Knows Best, and then You're Welcomes. We have, like, conditional ways to get rid of characters. This is just a flat out 5/5. You're like, nope, here's my 5/5, take your dude out, go, move on with life. So I think this card's very good. I think this card's gonna see a lot of play. Maybe not as like some 4 of, but a 1, a 2 in these decks seems very realistic. Mushu. Yeah, everyone was really excited about this card. And listen, I get it. You know, there's a lot of Mushu fans out there. 5 cost, inkable, ruby steel character, 4 strength, 4 willpower, 1 lore, and 2 abilities. Intimidating and awe-inspiring. Whenever one of your characters challenges, they gain resist +2 during that challenge. And then Guardian of the Lost Cells, during your turn, whenever one of your characters banishes another character in a challenge, gain 2 lore. I think very similar to the concept of Baymax, Mushu certainly feels like a reason or like an identity for Ruby Steel. You know, we've been talking about why do all like the Ruby cards have these challenge matters? Like, why is there this whole thing? Oh, it's a dragon. Notable. I like that. I'm glad you pointed that out. But like, why have there been so many Ruby challenge matters cards? Why haven't they been good? You know, what do we need to like fill that role to actually make these challenge cards worth it? And I think Mushu does fill that role. I think that the giving your challenge characters resist to during the challenge, I think is like the more important role here, because it just means that these characters are sticking around. You know, cards like Shere Khan, cards like Queen of Hearts that are like enabling draw power, enabling lore gain. They are now all stacking with Mushu. And the best part about Mushu is that you get this effect the turn that you play him. Generally speaking, cards like this don't work because they have to sit and play and you have to hope that they're good enough. But you can play this, and the turn you play it, you can challenge. Your guy right away can challenge, get resist to, take a dude out, gain you 2 lore. So I really do think that this is very good. And I think that this is an identity for Ruby Steel. However, if you're in the Discord and you've been paying attention to Discord, my only problem with Ruby Steel right now is that it only has conditional draw. So while I think it all lines up, the synergy is all going to be there, I don't know that the consistency is going to be there, because we don't have enough ways to like keep our characters, like keep cards in our hand. If the second ability of Guardian of the Lost Souls was draw 2 cards instead of gain 2 lore, this card would obviously be cracked. But I would be like, yeah, no, this card's like a slam dunk 4 of in Rust decks. It isn't. It just gains 2 more lore. So it's just going to come at the fact that like we have to understand that, you know, we're probably going to have to play cards like Doc. We might have to play cards like A Whole New World, you know, and you have the shift characters to kind of line this up, right? We have Robin Hoods. We have Queen of Hearts. Like we have 5-cost cards that can come in and sing. Mushu can sing. So it might just be like some new variation of A Whole New World, which is cool. And we also do have ways, you know, to interact and attack things that are ready. So like there's a lot of really cool options here. So I do think, and I'm very excited because in all honesty, like the one thing that I wanted from duels is identity. I wanted this to come in and say, hey, this is the reason you're going to play this. And that's what I really like, because right now we've been playing so long where Amber Steel has its identity. Like we know what we're doing. Ruby Amethyst, Ruby Sapphire, you know, like all those things, even Amethyst Steel, like all those things have these like identities that we needed. A card like this for Ruby Steel creates the identity. It gives someone a reason to go, oh, this is why I'm playing Ruby Steel. I don't need to like think about it. They're telling me what to do. So I think that this is a perfect like answer for what this card can do. And obviously anyone that's excited for Mushu should be excited to play this card. I do think that it'll see play. You know, this definitely falls under the bar of like, hey, opening week when I get all my cards and I can start building decks, like this is definitely a card that I'm excited. Like, yeah, like let's just try it, because I've never played a game with Ruby Steel. Like now you're telling me there's maybe a reason to. I do enjoy that. I do enjoy that. All right, let me read what this guy does again. Let's see. I gotta go and find him. I don't remember what this guy does. Maybe I remember something. Oh, here it is. I found it. 4-cost, uninkable, emerald character, 3 strength, 3 willpower, 2 lore. And the ability, a legal condition, damage characters cannot challenge your characters. Okay. That's interesting. So obviously, this card's going to work better with a card we're going to see coming up. But I think I like this card in general. I love that it's a 3/3 and not 2/3. So it dodges like annoying cards like Brawl pretty easily. Obviously, if they have ice blocks and stuff, whatever, you know, like that's life. That's what you have to move on with. But I like this card a bunch, and I think that it's going to combo pretty well with other cards like that are coming out that have come out already that we're going to talk about. So I don't know. I don't have much to say about this card in general. I think that This card, when it came out, people probably read it and they're like, oh, whatever, it does a thing. And then, you're going to get to a couple cards later and you're like, oh, okay, I understand. Like, now this card might actually be good. Toby, I know we talked about Toby. Shout out to Humble. King Stefan was DeCandio's card. So, by the way, we can talk about that for a quick second. Any Brennan DeCandio fans out there, he announced in his reveal video for King Stefan here that he is joining the design team for Ravensburger. I think that's awesome. I think that anytime you can get one of like the brilliant minds of a game to join your company and help you build your game and kind of create things for the future, that's basically a win for everybody in Disney Lorcana. I think that's huge. So yeah, huge shout out to DeCandio for that. Good luck with all of that stuff. I assume we'll still see him at DLCs and stuff like that hanging out. But King Stefan, 5 cost, inkable, 4/7, 1 lore, vanilla amber card. You'll play him in limited, be happy about it, move on with life. The Matchmaker, I feel like this card came out while we were streaming the other day, but we'll do it real quick. 4 cost, inkable, 4 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore. Yeah, we did. We talked about how good this card is in limited. You are disgraced. Whenever this character challenges another character, each opponent loses 1 lore. Card's great in limited. Card, maybe sees play in like the Mushu decks for Ruby Steel. I wouldn't hold too much to it, but hey, like maybe. We had Hero in there twice. Oh, and then this was the other card, I believe, DeCandio revealed. 2 cost, inkable, 3/2, steel character, Aquila. I actually don't know who this guy is. Generic dude. You'll play him in limited. I don't think you'll play him anywhere else, especially not in steel. Steel has so many good cards. All right, so we got past those. Let's get out of that. Scroll up. Okay. I don't think we got this guy yet, right? So, man, Grindage, 2 cost, inkable, 2/2, 1 lore, ability of rapid fire. Whenever this character quests, you may pay 1 less the next action you play this turn. Again, there's a lot of like compounding stuff going on with Emerald actions, and I think it's you can do it, right? Alien stuff too. You can do it. That's the 3 cost uninkable ready character, right? Noted that there is no stackable. There's going to be some crazy combo deck with all these actions that's going to like do some stuff. Whether or not it's good, I have no idea. Whether it's not going to be consistent, I have no idea. But clearly that's what they're all working towards. There's a bunch of emerald items that affect action costs and stuff like that. So that's what we're all trying to build towards. I just like do not know. Oh, he's not an alien. Oh, he's just an ally part. He kind of does look like an alien. Is this Treasure Planet stuff? I honestly don't know where this card's from. I'm bad with certain lore. Like there's like a gap between like 2000 and 2010 that if like anything came out during that time, I certainly didn't see it or didn't know about it. And then even if you showed up like before that, there's a chance I didn't see it. So I don't actually know where this guy's from. I have no idea. I'm not some crazy lore person. But yeah, so the action stuff, I think that there's going to be like some level of enough synergy with actions that there will be some deck that cares about all of it that that matters. So I have no idea. I have no idea if it's going to be good or bad, but it's pointing towards something. They're very much double downing on it. All right, so we have the Baymax charging station. The next 3 cost inkable Sapphire item with the ability of energy converter. Whenever you play an imbued character, if you use transform to play him, you can draw a card. So I think it's whenever you play a Floodborn character, if you shift it to play them, you draw a card. So this is like reverse Bucky now. Is that what this is? I'm not even positive. I think that that's what this is. So it's basically just like an item that sits in play. Obviously, it works with the universal shift thing, so whenever you shift with universal, you now draw a card, things like that. It's probably an item. Blue Fairy. Oh, yeah. So, okay, it would work with Blue Fairy. Like whenever you played a Floodborn character, if you shift, it's blue. Oh, it is exactly Blue Fairy. Well, Blue Fairy still technically triggers off of non-shifted Floodborns. But yeah. So you don't actually need... This is... I'm pretty sure the wording isn't great. I'm pretty sure it's only if you shift the character. No, I don't laugh. I was trying to remember exactly the card I was looking for. I do think that this is an item that sits in play that, like, Sapphire Steel has a lot of shiftable characters. Emerald Sapphire is getting there. Like, I think that Emerald Sapphire is going to have more and more potential. It's an item that sits in play that we can exert with Scrooge. It has warranted play that I think that these stationary items, this one costs 3, so it's a little expensive. If it costs 2, it's probably closer. But like decks that are going to be looking for stuff like this, like Scrooge decks, as an example, you might just find a way to put this in there. Maybe not. It might not be bad enough. It might not be good enough, but it is one of those, like, it has a relevant ability in certain decks. It just might be too far gone. Like, it might just be too slow, if that makes sense. I don't know. Hard to say. Moving on. So many more. All right, we're going to skip these. We're going to come back. I'm going to skip that. I think we can just go to the next. Yeah. All right, we're going to catch up all this. All this gets caught up on right here. So, all right, let's take a moment, right? I'll come back and say hi to you guys. I'm gonna drink my coffee. P.S. Make today magical, right? It's my my princess's mug. I love this mug. Anybody not like this card? I'm actually curious. Sweet Revenge. That's a good name. It's a good name. It's a good name. So King Candy is a 4-cost, uninkable, Amber Ruby character. Storyborn Villain King Racer. Lots of stuff. 2/2, 2 lore, with the ability of Sweet Revenge. When one of your other racer characters is banished, each opponent chooses and banishes one of their characters. I think the most notable comparison I've seen to this card was Prince Eric, which is the 4-cost 2/2 with 2 lore. And when he is banished, you banish another card. So him himself is kind of like whatever. But I think this card's very good. I think this card has the potential to put Amber Ruby on the map. Like, and not in some Mufasa way. Like, but we can also argue that, you know, Mufasa's always been a tier 2 deck. It's never been a tier 1 deck. And I don't even know that, like, this card is going to make them tier 1, but it also means that you don't strictly have to play Mufasa anymore, because the racers always had synergy, but they never had true payoff. This card enabling a card like Vanellope, the 4-cost 3/3 Ruby character with Rush, and it's evasive the turn you come out. I think those types of things will enable a lot of 2-for-1s. Now, granted, there's already a bunch of uninkables, but hey, like, we're playing Amber Ruby, so we have choices. Like, it's not like we're locked into all these other uninkables. So I think that, like, this compiled with other racers that are all, like, just good enough might put us in a position that we can actually play this deck. It might still be missing something, right? Like, it's very possible that when it's all said and done, it's not going to be good enough. But I think if it is, it's going to be because of this card. This ability is going to enable you to get trades that you're not supposed to get them, and it's going to give you the ability to do it right away. Like, the turn that you play this card, we can challenge with a racer, we can banish something, and then banish another thing. Like, I think because of that, that's important. So, like, I think this card actually has a lot of legs. I really do. I think that we're going to see some love for this card. I think that, you know, the Sugarway Speedway is a very unique card that people are dying to play more of and figure out. So I don't know. I think that there's a good chance that you're going to see some love for this card. That's where I'm at. How many more leaks are going to happen today? So I don't know about leaks, but, you know, there is a whole schedule for NA Continental, or for NA EU. Actually, I think everything is out now. If you're in the Discord for Lorcana, there's like a whole pin schedule in the announcements, which is awesome. And then we have a feature post on Facebook that kind of showcasing it. I think the first one today for NA is shout out to our friend Enchanted Kim. I think she is 1 p.m. PST today, so she's at 4 p.m. maybe. That's the one that I know for sure for NA. Very excited for Enchanted Kim. She's a good friend. Talk to her every DLC. Very good friends. So I'm very excited for her to get her first reveal. It's pretty awesome. Lots of shout outs, honestly, to a lot of the creators have really come out. I said this the other day, but a couple days ago, the last two sets, I think have had like 7 reveals for Azurite Sea and maybe 8 or 9 reveals for Shimmering Skies. Like there just wasn't a lot of reveals that went around for North America. This time, not true at all. There's 25 plus content creators in North America that got a reveal, which is awesome. I'm very excited for a lot of those people. It was their first time revealing cards, and I really do. I think that's actually just very, very good for the health and community of Disney Lorcana for Ravensburger to trust people revealing cards. I think it's a big deal. So yeah, I love King Candy. He's the best. Oh, God. Oh, guys, this card is no. Why did they make this card? Why did they make this card, guys? 6 cost inkable Emerald Steel character Pete, the Floodborn villain pirate, is a 5 strength, 5 willpower, 2 lore with shift 4 and the ability of Frightful Scheme. Whenever this character is exerted, opposing characters can't exert to sing songs, and your pirates gain resist 1. Whew, that is a lot. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot. Pete, we already had games referee. That guy's already awesome. Drinking some coffee. Man, I think that listen, I think that this card is like really, and I mean like really, really close to negative play experience. There's just going to be a lot of things about this card that people are going to hate. And any world, we were talking about this in the Discord. Shout out to Smurf. He was the first one to say it out loud. I was thinking it, but I didn't want to put any juju into the world. That we can play our games referee. Awesome. And then we can like shift Pete. We can do our thing. We can sing a big song on turn 4, whatever we want to do with that. And then we can like play cards like Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. And just Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, pick them back up, and then like replay our Pete. And like just completely take away our opponent's like actions. This deck alone, if it's good, right? Like if this deck can be good into the general metagame, I think Amber Steel Songs is dead. Like Amber Steel Songs cannot live in a world where they can't sing songs. So this card might just flat be like no, screw you. And that is so difficult. So very scary. And yeah, there's other Pete's, right? Like we're not even just talking about games referee here. Like there's other Pete's. Like there've been more in this set. We had the 1 cost one that we were talking about earlier. Like there's a bunch of different options that we can get away with utilizing this card even more. If we want to just be total theme deck, you can totally just be total theme deck, right? Like, and that's cool. But I think that just having games referee and this in your deck is going to be a thing. Like this guy is a 5/5 with resist 1. Like, and he has 2 lore. And he costs 6. He can sing songs. He prevents, like he does. This card's good. Like, man. Yeah. This card's good, guys. And I'm fearful of it. I just felt like we kind of got 3 months of off of like the Emerald Steel shenanigans. Like, yeah, there was a couple that were here and there, but it wasn't every other round I'm playing against Emerald Steel, or it's not, I'm forced to play Emerald Steel, like, right? This card could be just like a big comeback moment for it. Yeah, I don't know. This card is gross. It's just gross, guys. Mulan. 7 cost, inkable, 5 strength, 6 willpower, 2 lore, Floodborn hero princess with shift 5, evasive, very interesting ruby steel character with evasive, and the ability of exceptional leader. Whenever this character challenges another character, your other characters gain. This character can challenge ready characters this turn. It costs a lot. It shifts for 5. We have shift targets for it. I don't know. Like, this card could be win more. It could also be the reason why you get to annihilate your opponent and gain 1,000,000 lore because of Mushu. You know, like, this could be the nail in the coffin for Ruby Steel. You're just like, if they set it up and they think they're safe, and all of a sudden you're just like, nope, I'm going to shift in, kill that dude, kill this dude, kill that dude. I will say that there's a real world, right? Like, if we talk about budget, this card just might be a strict budget card for Ruby Steel players, you know? Like, if they just want to be like, Ruby Steel, go home, then this would be like, hey, I don't have Maui Sharks, so I'm going to play this Mulan. Could just be that. But the card's interesting, for sure. I am curious if we'll get more Mulans that can shift on. Like, we have them, but they're not the craziest of things that you always want to play. So we'll have to see. But I think it's good. We just talked about this guy. We talked about that guy. We have Maid Marian. Pyros is interesting. Touche. Shout out to Pyros. All right, so Maid Marian's a 4-cost thinkable Sapphire Steel character with 3 strength, 3 willpower, Dreamborn hero princess, 2 abilities. Good shot. During an opponent's turn, whenever one of your allied characters is damaged, deal 1 damage to chosen opposing character. And then, fair play, your character's name, Lucky Cluck, gain resist 1. So now, our Lucky Cluck that is already a 5-cost 2/7 with ward could also have resist 1. Like, that would be such an annoying character. I will say, you know, talking about the Duel Links again, I do think, right, like, a card like this and a card like Lady Cluck, it's kind of telling you, like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what we're doing. So it is giving direction. Again, like, I think that it's important for these Duel Links to have identity. So, like, Maid Marian and Lady Cluck are now giving you direction. They're saying, like, hey, you know, shout out to Harlan Sweetie. He's like a month early on the aggro decks, but he's basically like, you're basically saying, like, hey, here's this 4-cost and 5-cost like end game to these decks that now work together, and all of your allied characters, which, you know, it's another things that I think correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the first card that references allies specifically? Like, obviously we have 1,000,000 of them. People just don't pay attention because we don't have enough cards in the game that focus on what the characteristics of a card is. And we are seeing that a little bit more in this set, which I do enjoy, because I'm a big fan on, if it's on the card, if there's a lever on the card that you can play with. And what I mean by that is, like, you know, that characteristic is no different than strength or willpower or lore. It's something that you can reference. And then as long as you're referencing correctly, it just like flips, it just keeps it going. So, like, having ally now on a Sapphire Steel card makes you go back and say, oh, what does this card do for it? So I think that that's what I like. I like that they are now introducing that into the world. The best one that comes to mind to me is Tinkerbell. I know that Tinkerbell is an ally. So now that my awesome Tinkerbell all of a sudden is now even more awesome, is because when they run into it, we get to do another 1 damage. We get to do like I'm trying to think, just like a splash damage, right? Like, it's just a layover splash damage, or like a fight back mechanic. I like the idea that all of a sudden the allies are like this fight back mechanic. And even the same thing with Lady Cluck. Like, turn 4, we play this. Whatever allies in play, if they're trading, awesome. They're running into this and they're taking damage. Now, when we play Lady Cluck, now they have to run into Lady Cluck. And when they damage the Lady Cluck, she gets to fight back again. So I just like the idea that there is direction. Whether or not this is going to be like good, whether or not it's going to be meta, I think is all debatable, because it's so very new and it's like a combination of new things. But I really do enjoy. Smee is not. He's not an ally, right? He's a villain pirate. So It would during your opponent's turn. No, it's also during your turn. So it wouldn't have worked, period, even if it was. Good for Flounder. Yeah, that's what we're worried about. We're worried about if it's good for Flounder, guys. All right, so much to give. Shout out to the reveal video on this one, too. This was on Instagram, and it was a great reveal. Shout out to Lorcana. Oh, man. I don't want to say her name. There's too many names that are very similar, so I'm gonna scroll up before I say the wrong thing, because she's one of the more similar names, and I just don't want to get it wrong. We gotta scroll up. We're way far behind. No, I broke it. Dun, 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 dun. There's been too many reveals, guys. Too many posts. I'll eventually find it, I swear. Here we are. The Lure Illuminator. Sorry, I was going to say Lorcana Illuminator, and I knew that was wrong, so I stopped myself. It's a Lure Illuminator. But that was it. It was a really good video. Really, really good. New card reveal just happened. Sweet. We'll get to it. I promise. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll do that one live. We'll come back to this one. So let's go. Where are we at here? This one? Did we already post it, Melissa? Do I just have to reload? Oh, we have a new puppy. It's Lucky. 3 cost uninkable, 1 strength, 3 willpower, 2 lore with the ability Runt. Oh, Lucky's Runt to the Litter. That's a funny name. So the ability is Follow My Voice. Whenever this character quests, look at the top 2 cards of your deck. You may reveal any number of puppy character cards and put them into your hand. Put the rest of the bottom of your deck in any order. So yeah, we can make this one bigger. Sorry, guys. Touche. Keep calling me out if I'm messing up. This is going to sound funny to you guys. The first question I have is, why is this card image so much better than everyone else's? I mean, seriously, the card images that have been coming out are definitely low resolution images, and it's very frustrating to me because obviously I like having the best resolution, but this image looks great. This looks way better quality than most of the images so far. So shout out. Who's our reveal friend? Harlan? Oh, is this Harlan's reveal? Nice, it is. Shout out to Harlan for the reveal. We were just talking about him. How about the timing on that? I'll post his reveal video in chat. If anybody wants to go give Harlan some love and hit the like button on his video, that would be appreciative. I smashed it for him. I smashed the like button, guys. Go smash the like button. If you're watching here and you haven't yet, smash the like button. It helps. Thank you. Yeah, man. Listen, if puppy decks are going to be real, they're trying real hard to make it happen. And it's clearly going to be Amber Sapphire. So we were just talking about Lucky and needing card draw. I think it was the Perdita. Lucky and the Perdita, very interesting. Now the puppy has ward, so you can quest with it. You have to make them run into it. However, it's oddly understated. You might want to play it after Perdita. Kind of weird. I think that there clearly is a puppy deck now that will be built and made, and it won't be 99 puppies. So that's a good start. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how good this is. He's cute though. This is a great art again. Phenomenal. All right, so we'll go back. Anybody remember where we are? Because I don't remember where we are. So many cards. We were on So Much to Give. Oh, well, Queen of Hearts. Can't wait to talk about that card. So Much to Give. This was a great video, great reveal. But yeah, it's a 2-cost inkable song for Amber. And draw a card. Chosen character gains bodyguard until the start of your turn. So very straightforward. Draw a card first. I do like how this card is worded. I think that is very, very important, because you do get to draw the card before you get to choose the bodyguard, which I think is smart. So now you get basically just another piece of information before it, where, a card like Heffalumps, I believe, is like Heffalumps, you choose the character first of like, oh, that character can't quest, draw a card. This is giving you just a little bit more information to decide who you want to be bodyguard. Do I think that this is a card, that's going to see a ton of play? Probably not. I don't know that this replaces like any of our current cards in Amber Steel and things like that. Maybe it's relevant in some of the other, in like some of the newer Amber decks that might come to be. But I think on average, this is not a card we're going to see a ton of play. But it is just like a 2-cost filter. You know, again, hilariously enough, it can target illusions. So this could be like a weird way of just saying like, hey, I'm going to draw a card on average. Maybe the body card matters for me, but when in doubt, I can just like pay 2 and banish an illusion character if that becomes a problem. However, we have not seen a ton of illusions. So like, I'm starting to think that unless the second half of the set has a billion of them, I don't know that an illusion deck is going to be that much to be fearful of just yet. Oh, Queen of Hearts. Can I make this bigger? Can we zoom in? There we go. We can zoom in. Okay. Let's like this card. Every time I think that like the best art of the set has been revealed, there's another one. And then like this came out yesterday and I was like, wow, this card's awesome. And then a Medusa came out this morning and she's awesome. So the art for some of these are so good. Queen of Hearts, 5 costs, uninkable, 2 strength, 6 willpower, 2 lore, Floodborn Villain Queen with shift 3. And if I lose my temper, whenever another character is played, put a damage counter on them. Okay. This card is the epitome of identity, in my humble opinion. We have seen a bunch of cards, right? And I do mean a bunch of cards from Emerald that if a character is damaged, you can do a thing. You know, this is dating all the way back to Chapter 1. You know, Chapter 1, there was a Fire the Cannons for Emerald, but only if the card was already damaged. Never saw play ever. Like, literally, I can't even remember the name of the card. That's how long it was. Robin's Bow from a couple set ago. Damage character. You know, like, so many of these cards required you to have damage already done. This card just gets to enter play and say, nope, it's going to happen right away. The biggest problem for this card is that it's a 2-strength character. And it costs 5 and it's uninkable. But if this was a 3/6, this card would be an absolute menace to Disney Lorcana. I think because it's a 2/6, it'll innately have checks to it, which is important. I do think it's important. I do think if this was a 3/6, this card would be like actual bananas. But there's a reason why this is the thumbnail and like center page card, because I do think this card is awesome. I do think this card has the potential to create a real identity for Emerald Ruby decks. And because of that, I think I'm very excited for it. The shift targets do exist. There are plenty of them. You know, there's lots of random Queen of Hearts out there. The most notable I do is the 2-cost Rush character. And there are more, right? Like there's a fair amount of Queen of Hearts out there. There's also the 2-cost uninkable one that you can do damage to a damage character. So there's certainly options to put this card into play on turn 3. Yes, this is true, right? Like this is true. But when I look at this deck, I have to assume that the top end is probably just Maui Shark, right? You know, I don't know. I think that the way we can design her, Cove is a very important. That's a very good shout out. Cove is a great, probably very likely a very good card for this. That was a very, very good shout out for Cove. Yeah, I think this card's going to be a bully. Like, literally. Like, her name is Unpredictable Bully. I think this card's going to bully the format. It's going to, you know, Diablo, Chernobog, right? There's a couple to start that come off the top of my mind. And I'm sure there's a million more that I'm not thinking about. But even certain cards, like, this takes a turn away from Smee, right? Like, now your Smee comes into play. It also, just so you guys understand, this gets around Resist. So this hits Calhoun's right away. Like, if they play a Calhoun, the Calhoun does take a damage because it's put a damage, which is a big deal. Also, this is another thing that came up yesterday in our Discord about it. The concept of putting damage on if the character was damaged or not. We were talking about it with Beast Relentless. It does not work with Beast Relentless, sadly, because while the character gains a damage, they did not take damage. So it's not like it doesn't trigger the effect of when a card is being damaged, which I think is going to come up a lot. And it's already been covered before. Like it is like in the rules doc and things like that. However, none of these cards have been good enough. So none of these cards have seen play. So it's not something we really talk about regularly because we just don't have a reason to. Now we have a reason to. I think this card is certainly going to be around at least early on. While everyone's like kind of exploring the set in the first couple weeks, I 100% expect to see this card just start the event, see if people figure it out, see if it lasts. But man, this card's good. This card's good. Go. There you go. Candlehead's a funny name. Am I right? Am I right? 2 cost thinkable, 2/2. I believe this is a racer. 1 lore, Amber character. And let's go back. Let's see what this guy does. I think it's like heal. I honestly cannot remember what this card does. Winning isn't everything. When this character is banished, yeah. When this character is banished, you may remove up to 2 damage from a character of your choice. It's fine. It's a racer. It's also an ally. Not notable because it's not Sapphire Steel, but it does the thing. We'll see. We'll see. Seems mid. Got to read this one. This one I actually do not remember what it does. So it's a 1 cost, uninkable. Wooder has memory. And then it's a Sapphire action, and its ability is look at the top 4 cards of chosen player's deck, put 1 on top of their deck, and the rest on the bottom of their deck in any order. So this card's kind of fun. I think Shark will love this card. This is one of those where like it's so hard to judge if players will actually play this card, but it does have a lot of power in it. It can just be like, hey, on the top of my deck, I gotta make sure I draw the right card. You know, like I gotta like pay 1, dig a little deeper. Haha, joke. Find the best card for me so I know I can like pick it up this turn. But there's also a world where you can put yourself in a position in game state and you're saying, you know what, my opponent just can't draw X. And you can pay 1, look at the top 4 cards of the deck, and just put the worst card on top of their deck and potentially end the game. So I'm not saying this is some staple, but I do think it's a very interesting card. I really do. We'll see. We'll see if this one lasts. Coda. This card's stats. Not really, but kind of. 3 cost, inkable. 2/2 with 3 lore for Amber. You know, like we've had a bunch of 1/3s in the past, right? Caterpillar and Magic Carpet that are 3 lore characters for 3, but they're 1/3s. I don't know if this makes this better or worse as a 2/2. Like I don't really know. But it's stats, like, you know, 3 ink, 3 lore. Like this card's another card in limited. It's a bomb. Like Caterpillar in limited was great. Magic Carpet in limited was great. This card in limited will be great. Like you'll definitely paying 3 for 3 lore in limited is pretty awesome. So it'll definitely see limited play. Hey guys, we got to shift Mufasa. We talked about this yesterday a bunch. That we needed a shift target potentially, a vanilla, and that is exactly what we have here. 4 cost thinkable, 4 strength, 4 willpower, 1 lore. That's it. I don't think that this is the reason we're gonna play Shift Mufasa for Amethyst Steel, but at least we can now. Okay, there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. Stats again, in limited, you'll play it. That's great. Merlin. Okay. 1 cost inkable character. It is a Amethyst Sapphire character. 0 strength, 1 lore, one willpower and 1 lore, with the ability Predigtonomen. I don't even know what that word is. You guys, I have no idea. But whenever this character quests, name a card, then reveal the top card of your deck. If it's the name card, put it on top of your inkwell. Put it in your inkwell face down and exert it. Otherwise, put it on top of your deck. So I get it, right? Yeah, Nunez, listen, Nunez makes fun of me all the time. I've never seen the Sword in the Stone. So Nunez is to this day is angry with me because he's over the moon excited for more Merlin cards, but I've never watched the movie, guys. Yeah, so this is obvious, right? Okay, Merlin's got new meta is that's a bit far fetched. Let's be honest. The problem with this card is that you're going to use it once, you're going to get your ink, and then you're never going to use it again. And you have to get it right. So, like, if my first couple turns are Merlin and then Merlin's Cottage to get an ink, that is just strictly worse than just playing Sal the Azurite Sea. I think this card is bad. I don't think you're going to play this. If it was when you played the card, right? Like if it was like on play, get an ink, we might be talking. All right, we might be talking. That I think is a real thing. If I can get an ink and then Pleakley this, that's right. Shout out to Pleakley. I hope Ben's watching. Maybe we can get a bunch of conditional ink that way. But I don't think so, guys. I don't think we're playing Merlin. Sorry, Nunez. Orville. Fun fact, a couple sets ago when we revealed Scuttle, everyone thought we were revealing Orville, but it wasn't. It was Scuttle. 3 cost, inkable, 4 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore, steel character. It's an ally, guys. Welcome aboard, folks. During your turn, while you have a character named Miss Bianca or Bernard in play, this character gains evasive. Yeah, I don't think we're going to play this card. If you're a crazy Bianca Bernard fan and Orville, like maybe you're excited to do this. But yeah, 3 cost, 4/3 for limited. Exciting. Nothing else. Hey, look, it's Diablo. I don't need to look at this one. I know what this card does. 2 cost, inkable, Amethyst, Emerald character, 1 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore with evasive and challenger 2. It's Captain Hook, right? It's Captain Hook with evasive, and it's locked into Emerald Amethyst. I don't know. Is Captain Hook good? Like, I don't know. I don't think this card's very good. Maybe I'm crazy, but I think I'm not like ecstatic to go and put this card in my deck. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyone think this card's good? Anyone like really like oh my god, I'm gonna put this in my Emerald Amethyst decks? First of all, I'm not gonna put anything in an Emerald Amethyst deck. We already know my feeling on that, but I just think that this card's like super meh. I mean, like, yeah, I guess that's cool. Like, you know, I guess this is notable, but aren't they just gonna play their Diablo, sing, and kill your Diablo? Isn't that just gonna happen like all the time? You know, I mean, I'm just being real, guys. Mirabel. What about Mirabel? I love Mirabel. 3 cost, inkable, 1 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore, evasive, and singer 5. This was revealed by Spessy, by the way. Shout out to Spessy. This card, if this was an amber card, right? Listen, if this was just an amber card, it would be better than Aurora. All right, full circle moment here, guys. If this was amber only, this is better than Aurora. Yes. See, you get me. Unfortunately, it's locked to Amber Amethyst, and because of that, I don't know why we're playing this card just yet. Evasive singer is so interesting, but yeah, I don't know what we're singing that's gonna be relevant, so that's the problem. Where can I see the cards, you ask? I can dump a link here. Every card that's been revealed to this point is on our Facebook page. I'm actually looking out of our albums on this video. So, or the stream. So yeah, I don't know. We can move on. Shout out to Katie from the Lore Keepers Inn. She also had a phenomenal reveal yesterday. It was great. I loved it. Dressed up and all. Made a book. Total shout out to Katie. But we have a 5-cost, uninkable, steal action. Your characters can't be challenged until the start of your next turn. Restoring the Atlantis. Man, this card is interesting. So it costs 5 and it's uninkable, right? And that's the biggest thing. Obviously, it's not a character. If we compare it to Kita, right? Like Shift Kita is kind of like the same thing in a way, but this is slightly better because it does. I don't know. I don't even know if I wish it was a song. I don't know if this card could have been inkable. Like maybe it's just too good as inkable, but the 5-cost uninkable does hurt. But like there are lines that I don't know. It's so tough. Like comparable cards, right? And I think we can go down a weird rabbit hole here for actions. And when like maybe success leaves clues in a way. 99 Puppies, right? So 99 Puppies is the amber card that you get +1 lore for each of your cards that quest. So in a way, you have to basically say, like, for 5-cost uninkable action, how much lore am I getting from this? So if you have some insanely good opening and you're like 2 lore character on 2, 2 lore character on 3, 3 lore character on 4, on turn 5, everything is going questing, everything is going your way, and then you're like, bam, restoring Atlantis, I'm just gonna like lock down the board and get another 7, 8 lore. Like if that is the way this card is gonna work, then I think it's very good. But, and here's the but, because there has to be a but. If your plan doesn't go to route, like if it doesn't work out and they just like remove your 2 and remove your 3 and you only have a 4, are we really going to play 5 for an uninkable action to like lock down one character? I don't know. Like, I don't think so. And that's just the sad truth, is that I think that this card is slightly overcosted, and it's probably for a good thing. I think anytime a card reads, your opponent cannot do this, it has to be really close. Like, it can't just be like, yeah, no, you're not allowed to do this, and you're going to lose the game because of it all the time. So I think that that's like the cost, like that's the opportunity cost here of this being uninkable. If it was inkable on those hands that I just explained, you're just like, yeah, whatever, just ink it and move on with life. Who cares? But the fact that it's uninkable, that when you have it in your hand and you don't have a board to play it on, that's a true cost to deck building. So I think that that's really what the notable things are here. I don't think you're going to see a ton of play with it, sadly. All right, we're back to King Candy. So we're almost there. We're almost there. We only have cards that came out late. So shout out to Vox Lorcana for this one. We'll bring them up again. 4-cost, uninkable, 2 strength, 4 willpower, 1 lore. Gantu, the Storyborn alien captain, with 2 abilities. Close all channels. Close all channels. I don't know why I'm saying close, guys. My bad. Close all channels. When you play this character, characters can exert to sing songs until the start of your next turn. Got it. Don't get any ideas. Each player pays 2 ink more to play actions or items. So, all right, cool. Maybe Melissa got it. We'll find out in a second. This card is just strictly worse Pete. But it's also a card that by design I don't like. It's one thing for Pete, where Pete comes in and it's like, hey, you just can't play actions for a whole turn. This is another that says like, hey, you can still play your songs, but you can't sing them. So I normally don't like this type of effect in the game. I just think it's a lot to ask for people to constantly remember. It's very common that you miss these things. Yeah, Thalia of MTG. Yeah, I was not a part of that world, so I feel like I know what that card is, but I don't know what that card is. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. I don't even know that this card is particularly that good as a 4-cost uninkable. It is awful. It is annoying. It I don't know. Like, it's fine. I think that this card's like strictly worse than Pete, and I do mean strictly for all intents and purposes. So yeah. Competitive players won't care about this card, but this card will ruin casuals. It's very true. It's very, very true. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's much to worry about this card, but revealed by Box Lorcana. Shout out to them. Then we have This Is My Family. I love this card, guys. Listen, I played Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom in a DLC, okay? And I would play this card. 2 cost, uninkable. This Is My Family, action song for Amethyst. Gain 1 lore and draw a card. It replaces itself and gives you a lore. And it's out of questing, like lore gain, strictly better than bosses on a roll. That's hard to not disagree with. For what it's worth, I also played boss on a roll in a DLC. Yeah, this card. I just think this card's good. The question I asked, I think it was oh no, it was in the share of it, is how many unimables can we play? Snake singing This Is Cracked. Singing with my 3/3s on turn 2. I mean, hey. Or turn 3. I mean, maybe it's a thing. For what it's worth, in the grandma or the fairy godmother decks right now that have Cinderella, like Cinderella singing this doesn't feel awful. Like, I think this is fine on average. If your opponent doesn't have the one that remove your Cinderella, you're just like, all right, cool. I now just get to draw a card and gain a lore. That's fine. I'm okay with it. I think this card's good. Oops. All right. Man, we keep talking about it, but seriously, the art, this is so good. So good. This was revealed this morning. I think I woke up to it. 3 cost, inkable, 1 strength, 4 willpower, Amethyst Ruby character, Storyborn villain sorcerer. With the ability, Now You've Upset Me. Whenever one of your characters challenges, you may move 1 damage counter from chosen character to chosen opposing character. So, all right. Play this on 3. Challenge with my snake. If my snake already had damage on it, I could then move a damage from my snake to an opposing character. So you can actually like move it to the character. What's interesting about this, oh wow, this goes down a really weird rabbit hole. So like cards with resist. So Calhoun is an example. Let's say Calhoun took out a 2 strength character like Turn-a-Box Follower, and there was like a random 1 damage laying on, and you were playing off like this weird like game of trades. If you were to challenge the Calhoun that's exerted with your snake that has a damage on it, you would move the damage before the challenge. Yeah. And then the Calhoun would just vanish. And then there would be no challenge. And then your snake would live. Super weird. Like, very, very awkward. Also, yeah, the timing of this is really weird. The timing of this is going to call for judges, for sure. There's going to be a bunch of like judge calling to make sure it's all correct. It's also notable that the card you challenge with does not have to be the card that you move damage from. So you could challenge with your 1, move a damage from your 2, and then challenge with your 2 and like do it again. Very interesting card. I don't know, like, and this is the funny thing here is that like obviously Ruby Amethyst already has this like crazy identity. So I don't know that this dueling needed to be like this way, but it's clearly showing several cards now that are working with like when you play or when you challenge, like do this stuff with damage. So it's definitely leaning into those things. But I don't know that it's like giving you a general direction. I think it's just saying like maybe this time in design we knew Ruby Amethyst was one of the more prominent decks in the game. We just didn't need to give it any more identity and any more help. So I think there's that. But yeah, very interesting. Very, very interesting card. it's very hard to say if this card's better than any of our current 3-drop options in Ruby Amethyst. And it's hard to say, am I going to build a deck like strictly for these cards? I don't think that that's like either of those things are true right now. I don't think so. Pretty sure you still challenge and die. I don't think so. I think that this is different, right? Like the ability triggers and resolves before damage is dealt. Yeah. So Orion, shout out to Orion, for anyone that doesn't know. He is one of the best people to go to for judge rulings. He keeps up with all of it. He does not judge. He's a player, but he does his best to keep up with the ruling. So normally I will I'll definitely default to Orion's ruling on this. All right. Yeah. I think this is this is from Atlantis, is my guess. I don't even know. 3 cost inkable, 3 strength, 4 willpower, 1 lore, storyborn ally, Sapphire character. You'll play it and limit it. We'll move on. It's just a dude. He's just a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude, guys. That's it. Kronk. How do we like Kronk? Kronk is pretty cool. So Kronk is ward. Yeah. Ward, and if an effect would make you discard 1 or more cards, you don't discard. So 5 cost, uninkable, 4 strength, 4 willpower, 2 lore, Amethyst Emerald character with ward and prevents you from being able to discard. Great is a nice comment. I don't know that it's great. So I think that it's very synergistic with Cusco, which I like. The Cusco that was revealed a few days ago that, you can, at the start of your turn, you choose whether or not to discard a card or draw a card. I like the idea that you can, like, Cusco on 4, and then on 5, you can, like, say, hey, we'll draw a card, and then on turn 5, we can play Kronk. And then from that point forward, all of a sudden, Cusco is just, like, discard a card every turn, and you don't have to discard one. I think that's cool. I love the art on this, by the way. I don't know. This card seems fine. Yeah, like, the stat line is great, but if all I'm playing it for is Ward 2 lore, then isn't Pete bad guy just strictly better? I feel like Pete bad guy is just strictly better. Yes. I believe so. At least I would assume so. The one question that came up earlier was if Diablo Shift gets around it, and no, it does not. You would still have to discard a card to pay the cost of Diablo. You can't just, like, say, oh, my Diablo shifts for nothing. So yeah. Oh yeah. This is a good point. I like that Megara. That's a Megara. It's a card that people didn't really talk about much. Also uninkable though, right? 3 cost, the 3 cost 3/6 with 2 lore, I think. Stats are great. So, like, maybe this is a thing, but this card costing 5, that card costing 3, like, it gets a little awkward. So I'm just not sure. And there's just so many. Oh, that's right. Megara, I'm not looking at the specific wording, but that's right. If you don't discard a card, you banish her, right? So, like, she would just get banished. If you don't play with Megara, wouldn't work. Oh. It's a bug. So the Psybug is a 2 cost, inkable, 1 strength, 2 willpower, and 1 lore with the ability of Hive Mind. This character gets +1 strength for each other character you have in play. I guess this card's okay. I don't know. It seems... I don't think we'll see it in play for competitive. I'm not even sure if we would see it in limited, if I'm being honest. This card seems like it's inkable, thankfully. So when in doubt, if we have to play it as a 40th card, it's, like, fine. But I don't think so. I don't think we're going to see this card much. I keep doing that. These guys were revealed like right before I went on stream. Three cost, inkable, 1 strength, 4 willpower, 1 lore, with Challenger 2 and the ability Wisdom of his Story. During your turn, when this character is banished and challenged, return this card to your hand and gain 1 lore. That is really cool. And we have like several abilities. I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember the I don't remember all of the Brother Bear combos. I actually do not remember. I know that there's a bunch of these guys now, and they all have like lines of text on them. They're similar to Jotsim and Jetsam. And since they haven't been meta relevant, I just don't remember what they all do. So I know I can't remember. Is Kenai the one that prevents Coda from being challenged? Is that how that one works? I think I just can't remember exactly, but I know that they each do some cool things. And then this one is Belo, who is gigantic. 6 cost, uninkable, 5 strength, 4 willpower, 2 lore. Ruby legendary. Fight like a bear. Your characters with 7 strength or more can't be dealt damage. Okay. This goes straight into the bulk box, right? I mean, listen, yeah, you can do that. Sure. Are you going to play a 6 cost uninkable in your deck to do that? I don't think so. I don't think so. That's okay. I'm just saying. I think you guys. I don't think you guys are gonna play that card. I'm gonna be honest. I am not convinced that like all of a sudden this card exists and we're gonna play this because of Maui Half Shark. I'm not a believer. I'm not a Belo believer, but you know, Pyro's combo. Pyro's only 5 strength, right? He's not 7. Listen. If the bar is win with the card at set champs is your goal, that's cool. We could have fun with those things, all right? I'm just saying. That doesn't make it good. That doesn't make it good. All right, I was told there was another card reveal. Is it true? Aha. Ooh, what's this? What's this? Okay. Steel legendary. Is it good? I actually haven't read it yet, guys. It's a steel legendary. What's our over under on this card's good or not? 5 cost, inkable, 4 strength, 3 willpower, 2 lord with bodyguard. And when this character is banished during an opponent's turn, do 2 damage to each opposing. Oh, hold on. Wow. All right, that has a real ability. It's inkable. Huh. Man, my initial reaction to this card is that I like it. And that it does do relevant things. The 4 strength is pretty great. It can trade with a lot of stuff as a bodyguard. The 3 willpower is not as good for it, but like at least my 4 strength means whatever is challenging me, I'm taking it out. The timing window of it is very important because it can really, really mess up opposing board states. Wow. Man, I don't know. Is this also an ally? Did we confirm that? If this is an ally, this card's even more interesting. I see ally here. I don't know if this is villain or not. I don't know. If anyone has any idea if this is an ally, let me. Isn't it? It is an ally. This might be. I think this card's good. I think this card is like functionally good. French Canadian here. Yeah. Ain't no villain. That's fair. That's fair. I was pretty confident it was Ally, but I was just like, I don't want to be wrong because I don't want to oversell it. Yeah, I think this card's good. I do. I think this card's very good. I think it's going to fit into decks pretty easily. Maybe it's just too high, like maybe 5 is just going to be the curtains, but this card feels pretty good. We need more brooms. I don't know. All right, and that's it, right? No more other things. Take a quick look at this again. So today is the 13th. So yeah, we have 1 p.m. We have Enchanted Kim and Knives Corner, it seems. So we get 2 at the same time. This will be on Instagram. Knives will be on YouTube. And then tonight, that's right, we'll be back tonight, guys. I came in and hung out with you today. I covered Tamatoa on the last one. I covered him on Tuesday. But, yeah. So tonight, 5 o'clock on YouTube, on Twitch, probably on Facebook too. It'll be the same thing. We'll be back, and I'll be joined by Scott Landis, and we are going to give you our reveal. And I've been kind of teasing some things, but like this won't stay on my head. We'll try again. Will it stay? Will it stay? No, not really. I have to like lean forward. I'm just saying. I've been wearing this crown now for a few days. I have to like lean so it doesn't like go invisible. But I'm excited for the reveal tonight. And Scott's definitely excited. Scott loves talking about new cards. So tonight around probably right around 8 p.m. EST, channel will go live again. And we're going to come on. We're going to talk a little bit with Scott and his favorite cards from the set. And then we're going to reveal our card. And then we're actually going to hang out for a little bit, a while after that. Dick Burns are going to be on the night. Melissa will be on tonight. Ben will be on tonight. So, yeah, 4:30. So you're going to have the whole team kind of from breaking down from SSG Miami, talking about the event a little bit, and then talking about our favorite, like their favorite cards from the set. You guys can obviously innately hear me immediately talk about these cards the last couple of days, and that's been a lot of fun. But I'm going to give everyone a chance. Like, we all have different opinions, and I think it's fun to hear where their voices are and what they're excited about as well. And then right after us on the schedule is Lorcana Girl on Twitch. So if you're already watching us on Twitch, we are going to send everybody right to Lorcana Girl at promptly 9:45 EST, so you guys can see that reveal too. Get everything all in all. Should be a lot of fun. I'm very excited. The season's been great so far. I can't believe how many cards have already been revealed. Actually insane. Oh, there's also if I scroll down a little bit further here, any of these guys can reveal today. So we already got Harlan, right? Harlan came in. Howling Minds he writes articles for TCG Player. Podcana will have theirs today. That I don't know if that's already live or not. That normally comes live around now, so I'm not actually sure. Lorcana Villain is tomorrow. Oh, sorry, Lorcana Villain, Podcana, and Alpha are tomorrow. Today is Kimberly Wazzy. Wazzy's one of the DLC commentators. Scott, who writes for TCG Player. Harlan, who we mentioned earlier, and then Cozy Board Games. Did we get Cozy Board Games already? I can't remember. I don't think so. I'm out on. Yeah, unfortunately, we are going to bring back the Trader tonight. For anyone that didn't, I'm going to bring it up real quick, guys. We'll go down the villainous thing that Dick Burns did today, or yesterday, I should say. Let me go and find it, and we'll just watch it really quickly because I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it with my own eyes. I could not. Pause. No. Pause. Here we go. Remove this. Look at this. Look at this. Just pay attention.
Raw. Hopefully he sees a 1-drop or a 2-drop because Wheel has to come down this turn. And there's the Cusco.
Oh, Cusco is
Look at that. Look at that.
So, Yeah,
Can you believe
the
him?
reasons why that
Starts getting up there in ink.
Unbelievable.
But he does play a
One
rabbit,
more
gets
time.
some
One more
draw.
time. I can't even believe him, guys. The monstrosity that is Dick Burns. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Seriously. Seriously. Can anyone? How dare he? How dare he's gonna have to explain himself later, for sure. But fun night last night for the ICL, fun games. Villainous. The Villain Club took over Luxury Gaming yesterday, 2-1. Dick Burns at one point, I think, had like 13 characters in play, which was hilarious. There's a new spoiler? Oh, God. Okay, I'm doing it. We're going. Let's see. What do we got? Oh, no. No one on my team has covered it. The social team sucks right now. Post it in Discord for me. If someone posted new cards, I can go and find it. Let's see. You can't link to stream, unfortunately. Yeah, look, see, Melissa's here. She's like, guys, I'm doing my job, I swear. But all we see is the cute little kitty cat. Discord has to do their job. Did you get me, Christian? All right. I see it. Let's see. We'll open this in browser. We'll just look at it here. Melissa can go figure out where it's from. Remove. Present. Boom. So, Donald Duck is a 2-cost, uninkable, 1 strength, 1 willpower, 2 lore. He's a pirate, and his ability is whenever this character is challenged, you may return an action card that isn't a song from your discard to your hand. So there you go. Scott got Donald. I don't know. I didn't see it. Where was he from? Was he on there? Doesn't matter. Yeah, this card is also uninkable. If this card was inkable, it would probably fit right on into this little deck. I don't know how many uninkables we can really play. But, I mean, getting, like, when this character is challenged, you may return an action card in Song. I mean, I don't know. Like, this card is strictly better than Do It Again, right? It's probably also strictly better than Lady Tremaine. But it is when it's challenged. So, yeah, I don't know. Hard to say. This one's a little bit difficult. It has, if the deck needs it, it'll play it. I don't know the deck will need it, and I also don't know how many like honest uninkables will be in the deck either. That's all. That's like a whole other problem in itself. So hard to say. Hard to say for sure. Thank you, Christian. Thank you. Is that it for all of our current things today? I believe so. That's good. Let's stop that. Actually, I haven't made it yet. So yeah, I wanted to get on this morning, get through all these cards because there's a lot of them, and I don't want to fall too far behind. But before we go, one last thing, one last docket to cover, because I want to give a shout out to friends here because it's been really awesome to see this in general. We're almost at 250 members of the Metafy, which is actually awesome. So shout out to anyone that has already hit the follow on Metafy. I'm going to put a link in the description here. And it's been a nice week recapping and getting into it. But, you know, we're going to start deck building soon. We're going to start breaking down these cards soon. The channel will be back of, you know, telling you what I think are the actual best cards, not some like crazy live reaction to them. So there's a lot to be done so far, a lot to be had. And we're definitely looking to get some opinions from Nunez, from Scott, from Dick, get them on the Metafy, get you guys seeing them. And of course, Colby. Anyone that doesn't know Colby, he's not here too often. He was actually the one that did the Baja Blast video from a couple weeks ago. He was, you know, his recreation of a deck that we found on Inkdex, and he's like our natural deck builder to start every season. Again, I've said this a million times about him, but in the past, but like on day one, I'll be like, hey, all the cards are out. What do we think? And then Colby will just like literally spit 10 cards at me. Yes. And then Scott will be doing the full buyer's guide again. We're going to have that out. We're going to do a little different. So as you can see here, I can't actually see it. If I go to guides real quick. The buyer's guide last time, we did do a buyer's guide last time. This time we were just going to like strictly do a Archazia's Island guide. But in the Archazia's Island guide, it will have all of the buyer's information. So like it'll all be there. It's going to have that. It's going to have, cards to watch, cards to look out for. It's also going to be where we dump all of our tournament reports. So like I didn't really have a good place to do it before. I figured it out halfway through this metagame that the Ultimate guy wasn't really going to be what I wanted it to be for Azerite C. So we're probably going to retire this guide or just make it free for everyone to go and like see everything that happened for Azerite C. But what's going to end up happening is that this time around, the Archazia's Island is just going to be like a weekly thing of whenever our team plays in an event, they're going to write up the tournament report and they're going to dump it in there. So it'll be kind of a way to track what TFM players are doing and like what's been working for them and things like that. The issue that we've been having with Metafy is that the like if I just go here real quick, these posts, like this stuff, this post right here, which is a huge shout out to our players, but it only has like 600 characters. We can only put so much in here. So it's nice for like a little blurb or a quick thing, like you'll see coming up soon on here. We're going to have like a card of the day and we'll talk about it and we'll break it down in like 500 words or less. But if we want to get any real like information, it just can't be done on these posts. It's impossible. It's only 600 characters. So that's why you're going to see them kind of go into these guides and you're going to see these guides develop further. Doc, the Amethyst Steel Doc, Melissa's been crushing with this deck. The last chapter of it is about Melissa's deck from Azerite C, second place finish in SSG, the 5K this past weekend. She also won like 5 stitches with it. This is going to get a chapter update immediately upon release of the full spoilers reviews and talking about all the cards. If you remember for Azerite C, Dick got on there, kind of did a whole video about what to look out for and like where you would start. That's going to happen. And then we are officially working on a Baja Blast guide. I've been working on it the last few days, and I'm hoping I'll probably wait for the full release of the set before we release that, but it's going to be very similar to the doc guide where it's going to be something we're going to continuously update. I do think the deck is very good. I think the deck is only going to get better with more cards interact with it, and I think that it has the abilities now and the tools that you can kind of build that deck towards the meta that is expected. So all in all, if you haven't yet, please go follow there. You never know what you're going to be fine. And right now, there is a code, TFM Lorcana Archazia 25. Get you 25% off anything on Metafy. If you want to book a session, you'll be able to book a session with 25% off. Want to buy a guide? Great. If you want to join us as a supporter, the first month of supporting us is 25% off. So all of those things come in that one. And we're just grateful. All the supporters here. It's been great. It's been really nice to kind of like just see that community build in itself. And a huge thank you to everyone that is part of that. The other big deal, right, is you get into the Discord and you get into a chat in the Discord, and there's people that are in this chat on the stream that can tell you, like, it's very active. It's there to help you guys immediately. It's there so it's a quick response time. It's also there to put you in a room with players like you and players that are all just trying to get better at the game. I did a whole video on them a couple weeks ago about some of our core players that won multiple set championships, won playmats, won scars, and just like leveled up their game. And that's really what the whole support tier is about. It's about leveling up your game, getting better at Disney Lorcana, and putting you in a room with people that all want that. So huge shout out to everyone for following us on Metafy and supporting us. It's the best way to support TFM, if I'm being honest. Like the Metafy transaction for Metafy to us is so great. It's just absolutely phenomenal how much Metafy really supports their creators. And that's the biggest part about it. That's why we were a Patreon before, and now we are strictly Metafy, because everything about Metafy for us to deliver information, for us to create articles, create guides. It looks so much better. And honestly, like, I'm in their meetings. They do meetings every other Friday, and they talk about the updates that are coming to the website. It's just so good. So yeah, again, I'll link it one more time for anyone that did miss it. It's always in the description, the first comment in every video. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching today. It's been fun. We will be back tonight at 8 p.m. EST. Scott and I will be hanging out and revealing our card from Archazia's Island. I'm very excited for it. I've been teasing it a little bit. If you haven't figured it out, I like Easter eggs, so I'm sure you can get at least a little bit of an idea of what our card will be. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching today, and we will catch you in the next one.